Well, like that shit pretty cool, right? So that was for those of you watching the social media and whatnot. That was the B20 I did. Was last month. Got put together and put back into the car really quick, and it's already on the track doing work. So it's like a shit. I don't know why I didn't think about this earlier. I guess I will post on my Instagram if I'm wrong. If I don't post on my Instagram, I guess it's because I'm not wrong. But from what I remember, I believe the car is making 145 horsepower and like 136 foot-pound torque. And if you're wondering, like, wow, that doesn't sound very much, it's because it's a straight B20. All right, it's a B20 with a P8R head and P3 was it P3F? The high compression version of the B20 pistons, right? And for some reason, it's escaping me right now. I guess if you remember, you can put it in the comments, or maybe I'll post it in the comments later. I'll check. But anyway, like there's two different compression heights for the B20 pistons. One comes with a it's not like an enormous compression jump, like it's noticeable, but not enormous. Now the reason for the way this is built and set up is because he's racing in a specific class that calls for a certain limitation on compression. So he is maximizing his power for what he can have legally in the class. Now, I think I may have touched on this not too long ago with one of the last videos I did, but I want to talk about it again because it's relevant for this specific topic. So I've said for a long time that I would love to do sponsorships, and I actually have like people who out there are racing. Lewis races, the owner of the car. He knows people who races, and I've already said the same thing for him. Now, if you're wondering how the fuck do you get a part of VHB Racing, and how do you get a sponsorship, it goes like this, and this is exactly what Lewis did. He spent money, right? You got to spend money, and then you got to keep in contact, and then you got to give me footage, all right? So I need to be able to trust, like, if somebody comes to me and says, yeah, I'm going to race this car or whatever, I can't just give that person an engine, right? Without no history, no knowing who they are, I'm going to potentially lose money, or I'm going to lose money, and that person's just going to disappear. And I've done that before. I have done, like, where I've given away things to people who just disappeared into the history, into dust, into the wind, and whatever money I had invested in the thing I gave away just disappeared with it. So I haven't done it in a very long time. As a matter of fact, the last time I tried to do something like that, it wound up ending up in a disaster and ended a friendship. So gotta be careful with these things. So if you're interested in definitely jumping on to a sponsorship deal with VHB engines, you gotta spend some money first. And then, like, if you don't understand how sponsorships works, you still gotta spend some money. But there are some things that are gonna come discounted or free. Now, free, if I already have something like assembled that you want and that I can trust you to go with, I can give it to you. And why I said I'm talking about something I mentioned before is because I have a K-Series long block sitting in my front doorway. And, Lewis, when he came to pick up his B20, he was asking about, like, how much you want for that. I was like, and I was like, oh, you can just have it. Like, you can just take it because I've got, like, multiple K-Series long blocks of various different versions of builds laying around my fucking house. And long blocks are really hard to sell. And one of the favorite questions that people love to give me is like, oh, have you proven this? Have you proven that? And you got to understand and explain that there are some things that you know without having to actually do it. Like, like the results of VTech Killer, I kind of knew what to expect with a certain kind of setup. And then people go out there and they've proven it now. So it's like the theory is proven correct, but the theory was pretty fucking sound to begin with, so I don't need to verify every single theory to know that my expectations of where it's going to land is reasonable to believe that that's how it's going to perform. And but anyway, with all that being said, that's the reason why is because some people still are kind of hesitant to jump on the VTech Killer with certain setups because they don't think it's going to pan out the way that I've been saying that it will. But over the past couple of years, more and more people have been doing this, and more people have come back with proof showing that these theories I've had 5 and 6 years ago are very sound and very true. So, and because I would like to get these K-Series I have marketed, and because it takes me a million years for myself to get a project completed, I would like to definitely have people who already have race cars, they're already ready to go, they just need the engine to go with it, right? So that, for me, that kind of advertising is money in the bank. So I got no problem with losing the money I've invested in the parts that I've done to put these engines together for people to go out there and have it done. Okay, so also, the sponsorship thing that I can guarantee from VHB engines is labor being free. So with Lewis, Lewis actually went out and made me some decals. So for the first time ever, the modern VHB engine sticker is has been created, and not this weekend because this weekend's pretty much already done. But next weekend, I'll probably see about getting a hold of him, and I'll be buying stickers off of him. So I'll have some VHB engine stickers again, and I'll probably just get a small batch, just so not to invest too much money. So that way, you know, I'm not wasting anything. So I might have a small collection of people for people who are buying heads and stuff like that. Like you buy a head, get some decals, just like you would in any other shop. The stickers I have right now are ancient, and they're not very good, and they're the old logo, which I don't really like. So anyway, so for the deal with Lewis came in, he invested the money in his short block rebuild, and now that he's giving me footage and, you know, putting the decals on his car, on his race car, which is the cover photo. So if you didn't notice that there is a VHB sticker there. So for those people who do that, you know, now he's got me for like lifetime rebuild. So as long as he's racing that car with my engine in it, I will gladly go in there, do maintenance, or do a free rebuild or whatever, you know. So if he wants to bring me the long block or whatever, or not, well, yeah, I guess the long block, the head and short block separately, hopefully, because it just makes things easier for me. But bring me the engine get refreshed, no problem with me. And hopefully what this is we get enough exposure, we get enough people involved in this, we can spread down to his friends, get some more engines running. It'll get some more eyeballs on my sponsors as well, with Nippon Racing, Cylinder Sports System eventually, hopefully like that. And then once we build this up and get some more eyeballs on it, get some more viewership on the content, maybe then I can talk to the big guys and we can see about like funding with getting some pistons in every once in a while for a build as well, to help with costs. Again, like, you know, if you have any idea how sponsorships works, it's not guaranteed 100% free. You're still gonna have to come up with some money, but sponsorships will help in the long run with covering some of the costs for certain things or making things a little bit cheaper. I'm still struggling like crazy with the S2000 for whatever reason. I've taken like, what I think it's 2 weeks now at this point. I haven't fucked with the car, and now I'm starting to get it out of my system, the frustration, so that way I can you know, wipe my slate clean and hopefully get back into it. But here the thing is, for me, guys, like because I've had so much money invested in the S2000, I don't want to go crazy with this car anyway. So even once I get it running, that's not a car I want to race with. That'll be most likely the Integra that'll come after it. So that's what I'm trying to do for the immediate future. And gotta take a pause here. I had to take a quick pause there. Anyway, back, finish this. So I know it's kind of a bit rambly, which is what all my videos are, but that's because I don't have like any planned written out script or whatnot. I just kind of go off the cuff for whatever randomly is coming through my head. So to kind of wrap things up, I would hopefully this expands. Hopefully I can get through my S2000 anytime now. Hopefully it's not too much craziness that goes through getting this car running again. And then once it's running again, tuned and then done, then I can start focusing on the Integra, and then hopefully I can get the Integra up and running within a reasonable amount of time, and that'll be a car that I will do something similar to what Lewis is doing, because that's the kind of racing I want to do. I think probably on the long term, that's a lot more stress on the engine, but I would rather put stress on the engine instead of putting stress on like axles and shit like that. I mean, of course, you're still going to get stressed, but it's not as bad as if you're drag racing. I think drag racing is a lot more expensive than a lot of people realize, a lot more costly. And I think I would rather have like a session where I'm on the track and I'm running in circles for a while, or running a course for a while, versus just, 10, 15 seconds down a strip and then waiting in line for an hour to do it again and hoping you don't fuck it up. So hopefully I'll be able to get involved. Hopefully Lewis will keep doing what he's doing. He was already racing before me, and a cousin of his, I think, who bought an engine from me like a year ago, recommended him to me. And so that's already 2 people, and hopefully we can recommend some more of his people in. They got to buy themselves in the first time, so the first time they got to pay money, and then the rest of them I'll keep up with after for free. As long as you keep racing, I'll keep the maintenance. Now, of course, this also works easier for them because they are not paying any shipping. They're local, so they're dropping off and picking up. This sponsorship deal can reach out to anybody in the country. It doesn't matter if you're here or not. You just got to meet the same requirements. You got to buy in the first time, and then after that, the labor and maintenance and whatnot would be free, but you would have to cover the shipping because, of course, I'm not getting paid, so I don't have any money coming to me to take out to cover for the shipping cost, because the guys, whether you know this or not, your total cost is the shipping is calculated in there. And hopefully I would like to get some footage myself, actually to show up down there, go down to Homestead and make an appearance and film with him on site, maybe do like an interview type situation. We'll see how things go. That's actually pretty exciting for me. Like, it was super exciting to see, like, it's a legit race car out there with my engine in there, and I don't even care that it's not making a lot of power. It seems like a lot of fun. So yeah, I like immediately, I'm like, oh yes, I have no problem, absolutely no problem with rebuilding this engine for free for him, like forever, as long as he's doing this, you know. And of course, you know, wear and tear is going to happen on the engine, so eventually, you know, it's going to need to be refreshed. And also, hopefully, you know, new brackets will be reached into, and then we'll be able to upgrade and make some more power, do some more things like that. We'll see how things go. And I guess to end this up real quick, there's still a lot of people who come to me who ask me questions but don't realize that I'm a parts seller, that I sell parts. It's not just engines that I do for people. VHBengines.com if you want to check the prices, or if you want to check what I have. But just, you got to remember that VHB Engines, I established that website mainly for a browsing tool, because a lot of people like to hit me up and ask me how much things are and then disappear. So if you're going and checking VHBengines.com, you have a good idea of what I have and how much things cost. Yes, you can buy off the website. The website is fully functional. You can purchase your things off the website. But there only is a couple things. There's a caveat to that. If you purchase off the website without talking to me directly, there may be a chance that what you're trying to buy is not immediately in stock. Also, most of those engines and everything you see on there, I mean, all the engines and heads you see on there, they're all built to order. So none of those things are there ready to go. There's a process that's involved. So even if you buy there. And then the last thing being is that there's a tax that I've added to the website, because it has to cover the website fees. You know, of course, there are PayPal fees when you're doing any transaction regardless anyway. But the website itself, Big Cartel, the home website, also takes a service fee themselves for every purchase made. So not only do they charge you monthly, they charge you a service fee for every purchase, right? So to make sure that I get my normal fee regardless, I have to add an extra increase fee myself, so that way after Big Cartel takes their chunk, I still get the regular amount I would. If not, then I'm taking a loss, and I'm not going to do that, because I already don't make like huge amounts of profit on this. And I know that the dollar sign is a really big number that follows for these big engine builds, but I take maybe like a third of that as profit. I guess the one thing I can say on here too, to add, and I maybe got to change this so I don't have to talk so long at the end of the video, is that there's two engine types on there that I don't have listed. There's the forged one, which is forged pistons and forged rods, and then there's the CSS versions. All right, now forged pistons versus the Nippon Racing pistons is usually like around a $300 difference. So at $300, if you don't want CSS, then that's going to be your cost for a block. And if you do want CSS, a CSS, like a high horsepower CSS build without O-rings, forged pistons, forged rods, wrestling machine, all that stuff is around like $3,300, in that ballpark. And I'll see about getting that added so you guys can see that in the near future. Yeah, guys, I'm really excited about this whole VHB Engines Racing's prospect. This is something I've wanted to do for a long time. I hope that I can pick up more people to do this with, because the more people I have out there doing this, the more engines I could put out for you guys and more content. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and peace.